This piece relates to the problems of a young married lady when she tries to get to grips by making bread. And I don't know how many of you know, but the old word for yeast is barm. I think it's a Lancashire word, you know, barm cake and that. But anyway, and I don't know who this is by, and it's just entitled Barm. But it was written in the times when people used the most silly names for the characters in their stories, and you'll see there's quite a few. They don't use Smith and Jones, they're a little bit more complicated than that. Dandy Doubleshirt, what a tuner. But yeah, you'd hardly have thought it to see him when he were dressed up going gallivanting. He wore a top hat on a Sunday and collars 3.5 inch deep. 17s he had a neck. He'd a frock coat and a fancy waistcoat and breeches doubled up at bottom to show his tan bullocks. He used to keep bullocks in a dry place at home so as that squeak, and he always came to chapel late so as folks would hear him. None at lasses were good enough for him, and he used to tram about town as if he were cock at midday. He wasn't a bad bloke, really. It were his mother that had mollycoddled him that much. He were a bit full on his sen. Either old Bessie Busybreeches and old Sally Newspoke, who were neighbours, were fair muckstruck when he brought to them a buxom Bedfordshire lass and introduced her as his wife. You could have knocked him down with a feather. Now this lass, they're very clever at some things. She could plait straw and make hats and bonnets like winking. She wasn't much good at cooking. And as for baking, she'd never seen it in her life. And lass didn't like to show her ignorance, so she told on about asking anybody for a bit of advice. Bread were a bit sad for a week, and so were Dandy. Either, as luck would have it, she happened on a recipe one day on how to make bread. And so sun shone once more, and she thought she were at far end on her troubles. She rushed off to the shop for flour and barm, thinking she'd cap Dandy when he come home, and she did. Now whether lass get a bit flummoxed to what I don't know, but I stayed there getting half a stone of flour and 3 penn'orth of barm. She got it to the road round. 3 penn'orth of flour and half a stone of barm. Well, she made a start to make it into dough. Dough? No dough ever grew as fast as that did. It were over bowl top in no time at all. It crept into a snoop. It crawled under the table. It swarmed under the dresser, and still it came. It were like a volcanic eruption, and lass were glad to get it chamber out at road, expecting every minute to be a lass when it started creeping up chamber steps after her. When Dandy got home that night, it met him at door oil, and some on it had gone into oven and were baking it say. Dandy had never seen aught like it afore. He were fair muckstruck. However, he managed to get bowl out into close where it had more room, 'cause it was still rising. They waited while it were dark, and then they fetched Dosser Rogers to cart it away, begging him not to say aught. Dosser swears he never told nobody but wife, and she said she never breathed a word to a soul, nobbut Sally Newspoke. Sally said it had never passed her lips, nobbut to Bessie Busybreeches, but somehow it got out, and to this day everybody calls him Barmy. Lovely.